Hey everybody, welcome to your circulatory system lesson. First of all, the circulatory system is the main system that is responsible for transporting or moving blood throughout the body. Blood carries important nutrients with it as well as takes waste away. The circulatory system is connected to other systems in a couple different ways. First of all, it transports materials from the digestive system and the respiratory system to our cells. And this was evidenced in the Great River lesson. So please look back to the Great River and read it if you haven't had a chance to read it yet. But definitely look at the visual. The other thing is materials and waste are carried in our blood, which was represented by the river, which does not stop moving. It delivers oxygen and takes away carbon dioxide from our cells. I love the big eyeball popping out, man. And the other diagram just shows you the circulatory system and each main organ in our body that depends on the circulatory system and which way the blood flows. There's definitely a specific path. So you can see that there's two different colors. There's red and there's blue. And if you look at your veins are a purplish blue color. That is oxygen poor blood. So the oxygen poor blood is making its way up to your heart. And the oxygen rich blood is coming out of your heart. So the oxygen poor blood is the blue, your vein. Here's another diagram showing that the oxygen-rich blood enters the heart from the lungs and goes out to the whole body. So the heart's pumping out blood that has a lot of oxygen in it, which your cells need to survive. The oxygen-poor blood, which is the blue blood, enters the heart from the body and goes out to the lungs. All right, there's a couple main structures in the circulatory system, the heart being the main organ that pushes blood throughout the whole system. Again, the oxygen-poor blood comes to the heart, and it's blue, and the oxygen-rich blood leaves the heart, which is red. Here's another diagram just showing you the different blue and red sides of the heart. So the right side of the heart is the oxygen-poor, and the left side is the oxygen-rich. Each of these little sections is called a chamber. The next structure is the blood itself. The blood carries the oxygen that our cells need and is actually a tissue. And the tissue that is our blood is made up of four main things: plasma, red and white blood cells, and platelets. About 60% of our blood is plasma. The white blood cells, the main role of them is to fight infection, and the red blood cells, the main role is to pick oxygen up in the lungs, and then it delivers it to the rest of the body. Here is a little diagram showing white blood cells fighting infection, red blood cells carry oxygen, and the platelets help to control clotting, help to control big clumps of blood from forming. Those would obviously block our river from flowing. The last one is the blood vessels. The blood vessels are like our tiny rivers. They are the network of structures that the blood moves through. And blood vessels, inside of them have arteries, which carry blood from the heart. That's going to be the oxygen-rich blood, the red, and the veins, which carry blood to the heart. Those are the oxygen-poor, which is why your veins are blue. Here's a really cool diagram of an artery, and inside of it you can see the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets. And then there's also one of artery and veins. So you can see the vein is blue and the artery is red, symbolizing oxygen-rich and poor. Last part of the lesson is on blood pressure and blood types. So blood pressure is, remember, pressure is a force. Blood pressure is the force that blood on the blood pressure. The force blood, oh my gosh, start over. The force that the blood has as the heart pumps blood throughout your body. Healthy blood pressure is important so that all materials in the blood get to all parts of your body. So blood pressure can be too low or it can be too high, meaning there's too much pressure. There's 4 different kinds of blood types, and the 4 main types are based on which protein is on the surface. So there's A, B, AB, and O. It's really important info to know in case you ever need a blood transfusion. Your body will reject it if it's not the right type. We're going to get much more in detail with blood types when we get into Punnett squares, and we're going to actually figure out which types of different blood will make different blood types. Here is a list showing you that. So the receivers are on the left side and the donors are across the top. So if you are A positive, you can, if you look across, A positive can accept blood donors from O negative, O positive, A negative, and A positive only. So not from B or not from AB, either negative or positive. If you look at O, the receiver for O, who can O receive? The only one that can receive is O negative. If you look at the donors, going across, AB can receive from every single one, going across the top horizontally. Again, we're going to get much more into detail with this when we get into Punnett squares, and you'll realize why each of these can only receive or be a donor with certain types of blood.